I have wanted to do this video for a long time, but I always got sidetracked. Though today is the day. I'm going to share 10 things that I found very shocking when I got to the UK. Now, this is literally my experience, and please don't take any offense if whatever I say sounds offensive. I can assure you it's not. I am just making this innocent video to share things that actually shocked me, things that I wasn't expecting when I got to the country. And you're free to share your experiences with me. Please let me know what are some of the things that shocked you or that were different from your expectations when you got to the country you live in now. Now, my first culture shock, or one of the things that shocked me a lot, was how used people are to the rain. So when I landed, I remember it was morning, and we went from the airport in London to Bristol, and we were walking just around Bristol before finally going to the house, and it was raining heavily, not drizzling, like raining. And I remember we were walking around Cabot Circus in Bristol. It's called Cabot Circus, yeah? And there were just two people sitting on the bridge chatting, no umbrella, and they were just chatting in the rain like it was not raining. And me, here I was with my jacket, and I feel like it's not enough. I wanted to jump into a building and hide there until it stopped raining. But these two, they were just chatting away, and they were not the only ones, but I think they were the ones that stood out for me. And after that, I realized that people have normalized the rain, like they're so used to it. It doesn't stop them from doing anything, whether it's dressing the way they want to dress, whether it's going outside. Like, they don't even use umbrellas, most of them. I realized that. I remember even someone commented and said, in the UK, you don't need an umbrella, you just need a raincoat. But these two guys, I don't think they were even wearing raincoats. Were they? I don't know. They were just chatting away in the rain, and it was heavy rain, and I was so shocked. The second thing that kind of shocked me, this is still tied to part one, the rain, is how people have, I think they're so used to the cold. When I got here, I just felt like the country was very cold, colder than I imagined. Now, in the same point, I remember seeing two young, they were not even two, they were more than that, very young girls. They were teens or something. It was raining. This was like my third day in the UK, and we were out in Cabot Circus just walking around, me with my jacket and my partner with his jacket. And they were just these girls dressed in crop tops. How is that even possible? Like, it was cold. But here they are, crop tops. Their bellies are out, and they're okay. Like, sometimes I feel like telling people, could you please put more clothes on? I mean, the weather, respect the weather. Maybe they're just too used to it. I just don't know. And that was shocking to me, but later on I realized that a lot of people do it. I know there are British people I've seen who just dress heavily, but the others, it's like they don't care. It's like the weather doesn't kind of affect them. They just wear their short stuff and their crop tops, and yeah, it's crazy. The second thing that shocked me is how it would still be dark outside at 8 a.m. So I got here in December, and this was around January, and I'd wake up at 9, and I'm like, oh my god, I thought it is 7 a.m. until I realized that I kind of follow the darkness and light. I only wake up when there's light outside, but when it's dark, in my mind, I just knew it's still sleeping time. It's 8 a.m. and it's dark outside. No wonder I'm waking up at 9 a.m. So that took a while for me to kind of get used to. How can it be dark outside at 8 a.m? And so because of that, I would actually sleep in till like 9 or 10 when it was bright outside. And when that period passed, and now we got to, is it summer, where it's still very bright outside at like 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. That still was shocking to me, but I think I prefer that. Like, I don't really prefer it. I think I'd rather that than it being dark at 8 a.m. It distorted my schedule for a while because for me, morning is when it's bright outside. If I open my eyes and it's dark, I still have more time to sleep. And then for me, nighttime was like at 6 p.m. So when it is 8 p.m. and it's still bright outside, that's like, what is going on? How do I plan myself? I think people here just are used to kind of adjusting. And this reminds me of the first time the clock, is it shifted or changed? I don't know. Remember, I was in bed watching something and I was waiting for midnight for me to sleep because that was my sleeping time then. And here I am just waiting. One moment I checked the phone and it was a few minutes to midnight. And then all of a sudden I checked the phone and it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, Allah! What just happened? I wanted to sleep at midnight. Now I'm gonna sleep at 1 a.m. Oh my god, you have confused me. Anyway, yeah, so the timing and the darkness and the time it gets dark and how bright it is outside during summer was very, very shocking to me. But I think I'm getting used to it. Now, number 3. I have never seen such big cats and dogs. One time I was outside our flat and I saw this big cat. I was alone and it startled me, literally. And I was so shocked. For a moment I was lost. Is this a cat or a dog? It was so huge. I couldn't believe my eyes. And then I remember after that, I also saw a very huge dog. Like someone was walking their dog and it was so huge. It was almost the size of a big calf. I have never seen such a big cat, such a big dog in Kenya. I don't know. Maybe there are. I just haven't come across them, but I'm used to kind of medium-sized, normal size cats and dogs. But the size of cats, I mean, there are cats that have normal sizes, but there are cats that are very, very big and dogs like huge. It was so shocking to me, honestly. And rats, is it rats or mice? What's the difference? Like in Reading, there were very, very huge rats outside. So huge, they were literally the size of cats. I don't know, I even asked one of the people I used to live with, like, what do you guys feed these animals? What do you feed your cats and dogs and rats? Like, why are they so huge? I don't know, guys, have you noticed? Like, why you live in the UK, I don't know. Have you found these very big cats and dogs and rats? Even the size of spiders is very shocking. Like, such huge spiders. I feel like it cuts across every animal. Like, they're so huge. Maybe it was the one that I saw. The size of those cats and dogs and rats and spiders, yeah, I would never have believed it. That was very, very shocking to me. Now, another shock that should probably be my first one is how salty the bread is here. Like, who on earth makes salty bread? Who adds salt to bread? So much salt. And this pains me so much. I'm not like a huge bread fan. But there are times I crave bread, and I think I was so used to Kenyan bread that is sweet, but here every bread I'd buy, it was like salty, and my partner would enjoy it, and I'm like, bro, who puts salt in bread? What? Why? What is the point? Do you want people to actually eat this bread? Like, is that a thing? Why do people in the UK put salt? The companies that make bread, why do you put salt in the bread? Like, is that something that British people like? Is that your preference? Is that bread better than a bit of sweet bread? I don't know. I just it gets to me so much every time I buy bread and it's just salty. Like, I have tried different types of bread, and I remember the only one that didn't have salt was literally tasteless. Like, it had no taste. It had no salt and it was not sweet. And that is one that has come close to being a bread that I can actually tolerate. But honestly, every time I buy bread, I end up discarding it because I just can't stand salty bread. Please, someone just explain to me how that is a thing. And I remember the only time I bought bread that I actually enjoyed, I got bread from a Ghanaian shop in Reading, which is very far away from me now. But that bread, it just reminded me of home. The taste was so familiar, it was sweet. And I've tried to find that bread in like Asda and Sainsbury's, and I just can't find it. So if there's a type of bread in England, you guys know what I mean when I say bread, because I realized people here also have bread means something different. It's like, honestly, I don't know. When I talk about bread, I talk about a sliced loaf bread. So just let me know if there's sweet bread that I have actually missed, because all the ones that I've bought are salty and it annoys me to death. I am not like a huge bread fan. Another thing that shocked me is the fact that I don't think people in this country like to clean their shoes. Like, I've literally seen girls and ladies and men dressed so nicely, and then when you look at their shoes, they are so dirty. And I just have never understood it. Why don't people like cleaning their shoes? That shocks me, and I've seen it a lot. I don't think I've seen anyone clean their shoes, even where I have lived in the past. I didn't see anyone clean their shoes. I don't know. Let me know. Is that normal? Why don't people clean their shoes? Is there a machine that cleans them? But if there is a machine, then why don't they use it? I feel like you can put your shoes in the washer. I was shocked when I learned that the easiest way to get anything done is to do it yourself in this country, and people do almost everything for themselves, including renovating homes. My partner just bought a property and it needed renovating, and we were doing most of the work ourselves. Like, let me tell you, before I came to this country, I didn't even know how most things are fixed. I didn't know how closets are fixed. I didn't know how taps are fixed. I didn't know how people make walls and floors. I didn't know, and I didn't care, and I never thought I'd ever know, and that was okay with me until I landed here. And now all of a sudden we had to take down the wall. All of a sudden we had to take out the floor that was there and put a different floor and take apart stuff, closets, plumbing, like fix the shower and stuff in the bathroom yourself. At first I was like, I don't have to do that. Let me just call someone. Let's get someone to do it. And then there's this bureaucracy, there's this process before you get someone to actually do something for you, where you have to go to their website, call them, and then maybe someone comes to your property to see what's wrong, and then they go back and write a quote, and then you pay a deposit, and then now they book you in to probably be weeks after, or blah blah blah, and then after they've booked you in, they come and fix the stuff. God forbid, if they find that there's something that is missing, they will have to go back and rebook. And it was such a long process. I don't know. At that time, I didn't even know about TaskRabbit. Is it called TaskRabbit? I think it's called TaskRabbit. I feel like the process is a bit easier, though I've never used it. I've just seen some people praise it. But I just was shocked to find out that people do a lot of things for themselves. I moved into this property, this flat, and I had, you guys saw what I did. I had to assemble the closet myself, the desk myself. I had to assemble almost everything myself, including the bed. Something that I probably would never have done if I was in Kenya. In Kenya, I remember I even called someone to fix my mirror because it was coming loose. And apparently now, after getting to this country, I was looking back to that moment in Kenya, and I was like, all I had to do was buy a screwdriver and tighten the bolt on the screw. Now I know actually how things are fixed, and when I use a sink, I have a picture of how it was put together. So shocking, man. So shocking. Now this is more of like an expectation I had that kind of wasn't met in whatever sense. So I didn't expect to see people begging in the street. So I was very shocked when I saw people begging in Bristol and Reading, in every city I've lived in, just begging in the streets, like sleeping on the street with their families and dogs. It's just very shocking. Like, literally, the people are on the street and they have this little containers where you can put money inside for them. People are begging in trains. Like, I've had people come to me in the train and ask for £1. I remember one day I was working in Reading in town center, and someone approached me and they were asking for change, and then I said, I don't have cash on me. Everything, like, I have just my card. And he literally pointed to a cash machine and told me to go and withdraw.
Bombastic side eye.
Excuse me, sir. We are talking about my money here. Anyway, I think that really shocked me because I thought developed country, everyone is okay, blah, blah, blah. But I realized there's also poverty here. That's why I usually say it's just like any other country. But that shocked me to just see people begging on the street, and not black people, like white people begging on the street. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm just, most of the time when you see some of these things, though they don't show a lot of these parts of developed countries in media, but when we see black people in like USA or UK, when they depict poverty in these countries, they use black people. So I was very shocked to see white people on the street. I don't think I've seen a black person on the streets of UK begging. I had one guy come up to me, a young man, probably a teenager or something, come up to me and ask for £10. I don't think he was a beggar. Maybe he just didn't have, maybe he was short £10. I don't know. I gave it to him. Yeah, I think I was naive at that time. So I quickly learned that flat sharing and house sharing is like the norm here. You see, there in Kenya, people would just live in bed seats and studios and share flats when they're in university, or, and once they're done with that, they start working. People just work towards getting into their own one bedrooms and stuff like that. And a lot of people who can live on their own. But yeah, even people who are employed and earning a good amount of money just live in shared accommodation. And it's so popular. That's the thing. Like, literally, people renting out bedrooms in their homes, like just as renting out to a stranger a bedroom in your home where you live with your kids, and that's normal. It is so common. I feel like before I came to this country, that was a sign of poverty or something like that, just sharing stuff, and you're well off if you're able to kind of just live on your own, and that's probably everyone's goal. In Kenya, I don't know about the UK, but here I realized, and I don't think I've ever seen someone renting out their room. People would do Airbnbs and stuff, very few when it comes to extra bedrooms in their homes. But here, it's like, it's so normal, so normal. People just renting out their bedrooms to strangers. And people going to live in a house share with strangers. Like, you take a room in a house, another strange person takes a room in the house. I know in Kenya, even the house sharing, people who know each other come together and just share maybe rooms in a house. They know each other. But here, it's just literally, even letting agencies have these rooms advertised, and they just pick strangers and put them together in a house. And I'm like,
I wonder.
That's why I'm not even considering moving into a house share or a room in I don't know, it's just, it doesn't sit well with me. And I don't know. But I also think it's because most people here work. They are sort of employed, so they are not in the property during the day. They just come and go. They go in the morning, they come back in the evening, sleep, go again. So probably a place to live is not the most important part. And I have had even people tell me, what, you're looking for one bed? Just get a room in a shared flat or blah, 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 or in a shared house. And I don't want to. I just don't feel comfortable just living with a bunch of strangers, people who I don't even know. But it's so common here, ideally, and that shocked me so much. Now, another shocker is when I actually learned, and this is because I think I have experienced this country a bit more in a different aspect, but I was shocked when I learned that homelessness is very rampant here. Like, there are a lot of homeless people, and I think that's why even there are people living on the streets. And it's because of, I think, a shortage of houses for people, and even the rentals that are available. There is kind of a process, like a lot of screening, and ideally you have to be successful before you get into accommodation or before you get a rental. You have to have made money and you have enough money, blah blah blah, and you can show blah blah blah. But I know in Kenya, as long as you have your first month deposit and your first month rent, then you can get into a house. And I remember there's a time I knew how I was gonna make money and all that. I just needed a place to stay so I could implement that. And sometimes I sit here and I'm like, what if there's someone on the street who actually has a way to make money? They want to start making videos, or they just want a place where they are comfortable so they can start selling online, but they don't have, and now they have to live on the street, and that is why they are poor. I don't know. I feel like here there's a lot of homelessness. It's not as visible, but I think if you've gone through what I've gone through and been to where I have been and lived with the people I have lived with, you'd actually learn that there is a lot of homelessness, a lot of homeless people. And I think it's because of the shortage of houses, which also shocked me. I thought a developed country has big homes, big houses, and I don't know. I just didn't know how bad the housing situation is here. Like, most people don't really realize how difficult the housing thing is here until you find yourself in my situation or someone else's situation that is different from yours, and you actually understand that there's a lot of homelessness here. And that really shocked me, and it was not something I was expecting, not even just for my situation, like just generally. I have realized there's a lot of homelessness. Also, to add to that point, I was also shocked at the quality of the houses. I mean, I think I have seen some very horrible houses and homes and flats in Kenya in terms of insulation, in terms of how they are built and all that. But here, I feel like people put less effort in terms of creating high quality properties. That has shocked me, and it continues shocking me. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's because, well, technically I'm poor, so I'm not getting access to maybe the high quality homes. But let me know what you've experienced or what you think, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Is it that most places, most homes, high quality? It's just that I have been to low quality ones, or this is how it is? Just let me know in the comment section. I might be wrong because I haven't been in this country for long, and of course I've not lived in every city. I've not experienced every type of property, but my experience has been the ones I have lived in. One property I liked is our home in Bristol. Now looking back, I think that house was really good in terms of insulation. It's really, really good, but also it's top floor, so I don't think we had many chances of experiencing noise and all that. But every other place I've lived after that have been questionable, including this place. Like, the things I've seen, even as you can see the crack on the wall right here, it just shocks me how someone can rent out a place with so many gaps and so many issues, and the quality really does shock me. I wonder how many points I have given so far. But another one, when I was in Bristol, I don't think I paid attention. I was living in Reading, and I haven't been outside much here. But in Bristol, I remember most shops were closed on Sundays. Like, we'd go to Cabot Circus on a Sunday, and a lot of the stores are closed. I remember one time I was telling my ex-partner, like, this is very different from Kenya. Sundays is the market day. Most shops are open. Like, people know that's when everyone is off work and they're shopping and blah, blah, blah. So I was very shocked to see that most stores in Bristol are closed on Sundays. I was not observative in Reading, and I haven't kind of been observing here. But in Bristol, that shocked me. Now, there is a period I was on Tinder.
And continue.
And don't judge me. Do not judge me. Yeah, I was on Tinder a couple of months ago, and I remember I met one or two guys, not like on Tinder, we matched and we were just talking about us and, getting to know each other. I told one or two of them how, I'm about to get a divorce, or I'm going through a divorce. And I was like, yeah. One of them was like, yeah, I can see you're not looking for like a serious relationship, so we can be friends with benefits. And I was like, you don't think you're being too upfront with that information? I mean, like, is that normal? I know friends with benefits happen, But I don't think I've ever been in a situation where people actually just ask for it so openly and it's so normalized. You know, people do it like chini ya maji, you know, like sometimes people know they are friends with benefits, but they don't say it. It just happens. So when I met these two guys, that one asked, and then another one just said, can we be in a casual relationship? And I was like, is this normal? Do people just ask for this kind of relationships just openly like that? And that's okay? Like, I don't know. That shocked me. I remember for a moment I was dumbfounded. I didn't even know what to tell these guys. Could we just fake being friends maybe? Anyway, I was shocked how upfront people are with some of these things. The FWs and the casual relationships and blah blah blah. Or maybe if it happens like that, even in Kenya, just that I had not met people who are just so open with it. Though I kind of respect it and I appreciate it. Like, I think that's the best way to approach it. Just say what you want from the word go. So there's no confusion. And if you're into it, you do it. If you're not, you check. So I respect it and I like it. It just shocks me because I am not used to that level of, you know, openness. Guys, that's the end of the video. Share your culture shocks with me, your experiences, regardless of the country you're in. As long as maybe you're a foreigner there or you moved to that country, just let me know what shocked you. And if you're in the UK, what do you relate with? And I know there's a lot I don't know about the UK, so I am happy to be enlightened. So sharing more information with me that could help in my assimilation. No, I'm going into this is like my second year, but you guys know I've been so focused on other things that I haven't actually put myself out there and been in a position to experience this country to the extent that most people get to do. So always feel free to educate me. So yeah, let's chat in the comment section. I will see you in the next video.